Hello, BookTube. Oh, very unusually for me. I've tried many times to make this video. Ordinarily, it's just one try, but there have been catastrophic noise catastrophes. There's a huge apartment complex being built directly outside my front door. Uh, and there were huge dog emergencies, people peeing and pooping and fighting each other. And there's the ongoing emergency of one of the worst algae attacks of my adult life. That I only assume is connected to the fact that it's 85 degrees with 97% humidity here in Boston on the third day of November. Um, that there's no predicted end in sight for just the daytime highs going above 70 and the humidity staying in the high 80s. There's no predicted end in sight for this, no predicted uh, commencement of anything like normal seasonable temperatures. So the backyard is entirely in bloom in the third day of November. And God knows what is blooming that's causing this algae to go just nuts. But so I've tried several times to make this video. One time, my sweet old dog started barking hysterically at the puppy, and as far as I could tell, the puppy wasn't doing anything wrong. Another time, uh, one of the gigantic hydraulic cranes across the street malfunctioned, went wild, smashed into a wall, dropped several thousand tons of equipment onto the ground, so that everything in this apartment jumped 3 feet, 3 inches above where it was, and then came back down again. And then another time, I sneezed. Um, I think it was about 80 times in the course of 17 minutes. So it was. I've got a huge amount of diaphragm pain because of this. It's just I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe, couldn't do anything. It was just sneezing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and on for a huge chunk of an hour. So I and every time I did that, I had to stop the video. So I'm gonna try again, but you'll probably see this coming, right? If you've been watching this channel, you'll know that this is exactly the sort of thing for which I have no patience whatsoever. This is this whole booktube adventure that I have loved so much has been 100% entirely predicated on it not being difficult. I set up the camera, the phone, I hit record, and that's it. And that's just the way I want it, so I can concentrate on you. Uh, if it's not going to be like that, then my impatience occurs immediately. So this is the third time for this video. I'm not going to try anymore after this. If a catastrophe happens this time, I'm just going to give it a rest. Uh, but I'm not. I was going to do a whole bunch of. I have a million ideas that I want to do, but it really hurts to move and it really hurts to breathe, and I can't really see too clearly. And there's power saws outside the room, and once again there've been many low flying fighter jet wings. So I don't know what I should do to fix this. Obviously, the allergy attack has to run its course on its own. But as to the rest of it, I don't know what I should do. I guess I should start to look into a different place to film, because this area, this exact area directly outside my front door, is going to be apocalyptically noisy for the foreseeable future, well into 2019. So maybe I should start filming it. I could find a nook at the library or a unused office at the Christian Science Monitor and maybe film there. I don't know. I'll look into that as soon as I can think straight. But in the meantime, I'm going to let all those ambitious projects for videos go for the minute and just do mail, because we can at least do that and see what we can talk about. I've got a small pile of packages here that came last night, and I couldn't even lift them. I couldn't look at them because all I was doing was dissolving in an ooze. But let's see here. Okay, we have first up we have a finished copy of a book that I got an advance copy of, The Bug House, The Poetry, Politics, and Madness of Ezra Pound. Ezra Pound is a literary figure who is guaranteed to annoy me. His work infuriates me. just scabrously awful stuff that I'm amazed that he's considered a serious literary figure. And if he is, I don't know why all of the Nazi theoreticians, the philosophers and writers of Nazism, aren't considered serious writers. Why isn't Nazi poetry taught in schools? If this guy is, but as infuriating as I find his own writing, I often find writing about him even more infuriating. And I read this book. I tried to like it, but it was every bit as infuriating as all the other stuff that I've read about Ezra Pound. I don't know. I don't understand why people make apologies for him. I don't know why people try to legitimize him. I've never been able to figure that out. If his poetry were exceptionally beautiful, that would explain it. I've seen that happen, and we've all seen it happen with exceptionally beautiful music. You're willing to forgive a lot, but with Pound, I don't have any idea what does it. So so I have the finished copy. I don't think this will be one of those cases where I reread the finished copy. I think I got the author's gist the first time around. But what is this? Oh, great. Okay, I requested this. This is a novel by Karis Davies called West. And I requested it because of the description. Let me read you this. When widowed mule breeder Cy Bellman reads in the newspaper that colossal ancient bones have been discovered in a Kentucky swamp, he sets out from his small Pennsylvania farm to see for himself if the rumors are true. That the giant monsters are still alive and roam the uncharted wilderness beyond the Mississippi River. Promising to return within 2 years, he leaves behind his daughter Bess, to the tender mercies of his taciturn sister Julie. With only a barnyard full of miserable animals and her dead mother's gold ring to call her own, Bess fills lonely days tracing her father's route on maps at the subscription library in town, and shrinking from the ominous attentions paid to her and her aunt by their neighbor and sometimes yard hand, Elmer Jackson. Meanwhile, Bellman ventures farther and farther from home across the harsh and alien landscapes of the West in reckless pursuit of the unknown. And that appealed to me. That seems like it seems unconventional enough so that the author probably has a story to tell. And I'm eager. I'm always eager in circumstances like that. We'll see if my voice holds out here. It might not. It's my throat is just shot to ribbons from sneezing. Last night I got up to, I think, 370 something sneezes in rapid succession, so that it becomes after the first 100, it becomes a major concern, a major act of concentration simply to breathe, because you're hitting this metronome over and over and over and over and over again without a chance to think or stop or pause. So I hadn't thought. I just assumed when I was thinking about making this video that would start to happen again. I hadn't thought about the collateral damage, and of course the damage to my throat is the collateral damage. So I might have to end it for a completely peaceful reason. Who knows? Okay, this is also a finished copy of something we've seen on this channel before. This also comes out in early November. This is the finished copy of Living with Robots. Let's see if we can get this to behave. There we go. Which was it's a treatise about AI and robotics that I got an advanced copy of it months ago, and I read it and I really liked it. So it recounts a fundamental shift in the field of robotics from artificial intelligence to artificial empathy, and foreshadows an inflection point in human evolution. Today's robots engage with human beings in socially meaningful ways as therapists, trainers, mediators, caregivers, and companions. Social robotics is grounded in artificial intelligence, but the field's most probing questions explore the nature of the very real human emotions that social robots are designed to emulate. There's a lot going on in this book. I wish that it's translated by Malcolm Deboisy from a French book that came out in 2016, and I've been meaning to get around to asking the publisher if they maybe have a copy of the French so I could read. I don't get the translation strikes me as very good, so it's probably not necessary. I don't get the impression that I'm missing a lot of subtleties. But when I like a book that's translated, I always like to read the original if I can. Then we've got one of these cardboard things, only one. Uh, or the other day we had a whole stack of those cardboard things. Very annoying. Okay. Oh, wow. Wow. Okay, just in time for, well, too late for Halloween. Well, it was just in time. The release date is the 24th of October. It just took time getting to me. This is a Simon & Schuster, very nice paperback reprint of Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. A classic dark novel of his that I'm not the world's biggest Ray Bradbury fan, but when he's on his game, he's really good. Uh, uh, and I like Something Wicked This Way Comes. So I haven't read it in forever. So the video's gone dark. Or maybe it's just me. Well, I don't know. We don't have many more to go. And then I'll wrap up. And maybe it's best if I don't make videos until I'm feeling like I can actually survive through the course of one from beginning to end. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. All right, this is another finished copy. This is early December. This is London's Triumph by Stephen Alford. Merchants, Adventurers, and Money in Shakespeare's City. And this is the finished copy. I read it, the advanced copy that I got. I think I saw the advanced copy on this channel. I read it, and I was hoping that it would be, in something like this, I'm always hoping that it will be more than just the standard trot through the history. I'm always hoping that the writer will try something different or teach me something new. This doesn't actually do that, but that didn't detract from how much I enjoyed it. It's a very enjoyable example of Shakespeare's London, of the 80 million books called a variation of Shakespeare's London. This is a very enjoyable modern take. It's currently the only one on the market in the new section of your bookstore, so I do recommend it. It's just it didn't really have a whole lot for me. And then this is the last one, immensely heavy, so probably also a finished copy. We'll just have a raft of finished copies this time around. That's okay. That's nothing wrong with that. Oh, no, it's 2 books. Oh, bless her. Okay. I sent a whining email to the publicist, to Brandon Sanderson's publicist, because I just got Oathbringer, the new book in the Stormlight Archives, just new tome in the Stormlight Archives, and I was getting ready to dig into it, and then I thought, I should refresh my memory on the first 2, and I don't have them anymore. I don't know why. I don't know where they went. I like them. I would have thought that I would keep them, but they're gone. And so I emailed the publicist and asked if I could maybe have the first 2, and it looks like she sent me 2 mass market paperbacks, which will certainly do in a pinch, since I'm not planning on living in these things. I've mentioned on this channel a couple of times in the past that I don't particularly like reading mass market paperbacks anymore. They just don't do it for me. The discomforts and the inconveniences. Look, there you go. That doesn't happen with an electronic book. If I'm reading this like this and the slightest thing happens, and since I have a puppy, the slightest thing happens all the time. Boom, there goes. Where's my place? I have no idea. or what? Let's say I'm here and Adeline is mentioned at the top of the page, and let's say I haven't read it in 2 days, or I'm wondering, well, wasn't Adeline mentioned in connection with this character once before? It's a 1,200 page book. I don't quite remember, but it sounds like it might be important. Up here at the top of the page is where I want to type in the word Adeline and have the text search for that word to answer that question in a tenth of a second. Instead, I can't answer the question at all. Not only is that search bar not up here, but there's no index. So I can't answer that question at all. I just have to sort of muddle through. But I'm glad to have these. They don't take up much room. They will serve to refresh my memory. And then I think what I'll do is just keep an eye out for the hardcovers at the Brattle. Because they will turn up. Everything turns up at the Brattle Bookshop here in Boston. Also, if you're at a Savers or a Goodwill or a used bookstore and you have your own hardcover copies of these 2, and you come across a hardcover feel free to let me know, and we can work out a deal. But that's going to be it then. That's going to be the mail for today. Wish that I'm 10% of what I usually am. Wish that weren't true, but I didn't want to do nothing. That feels like a slippery slope. So we've got London's Triumph, very good, accessible history of Shakespeare's London. And a new paperback release of Something Wicked This Way Comes. Very nice. Living with Robots, which is not just about robots taking over your cashier job. It's about you walking into your therapist's office and the therapist is a robot, and all of what that means. Is a very good book, not the definitive 900-page book that needs to be written on the subject, but really good to start with. Then West sounds like a very grim and idiosyncratic historical novel. Then The Bug House about Ezra Pound, and then The Way of Kings and Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson in the great Stormlight Archive series. That now I have them in mass market, and that'll be great. I'll be able to refresh my memory on them, and it will serve also as a little bit of a goad to go out and find the hardcovers, get the hardcovers next time I run across them. But anyway, in the meantime, I'm gonna go away. I'm gonna shuffle back to the crypt where I live, and I'll see you soon. I hope. Thank you, BookTube.